Okie dokie. Hello, hello. This is Natalia PH Lovetarian with my beautiful returning guest, Jill Harrison. She is a she is a beautiful messenger, top trance-channel for the angelic realm. She is the author. She is a beautiful creator of love and life messages through CDs, through music, through books, through so many mediums. I don't even have, I'm not going to give you the whole list. Jill will tell you all about it. But there's so many possibilities that you can reach Jill. We will give her website before we begin because she's a returning guest. Some of you know her. Some of you will get to know her. Jill, which one do I give?
www.angelmessenger.co.uk.
Messenger.co.uk. So Jill is this fantastic co-creatrix and sharing the message. Do we see it? Yeah, we see
yes,
it.
Yeah,
right?
we're seeing it. Brilliant. Thank you.
There's no typos, no? No. There we go. I will put that one on. Yes, Jill had been, you were my guest a month ago, more or less, right?
That's right. Yes. I had a power cut, if you remember.
That's right. And we talked a lot about a lot of different things: diet, nutrition. Well, diet, we don't like to use that word. How to nourish the body temple, right? Emotional state, etc., etc. But today we want to focus more on who the angels are, what is their vibration, how is our vibration in relation to that vibration, and how we can truly be experiencing magic and miracles in the here and now. Right?
I apologize. It sounds like the bin's collecting behind me for the beep. If you can hear the beep, it'll go in a minute.
Perfect. That's perfect. So, Jill, I'm not going to be asking too many questions. I'll just let you roll with it. So,
okay.
Yeah, the questions.
All right, I can roll with it. Or if you do have some questions that you want to ask about angels, then by all means ask them, because then that helps me make sure you get what you need to know answered. But I started originally, I was born psychic, and I could always see and hear spirit from being very small. But I found the more open I was about it, the more I didn't fit in. And so I had to learn as a protective. When you're young, you tend to hide your psychic nature. It sort of gets dumbed down, and it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. But going through the teenage years, I was always aware that spirit were around me. But then as I got older, I got into a relationship that was very mentally and physically abusive. And it was at that point when the angels made their presence known. And I started to talk with them. And now when I see an angel, I don't see a being with wings and things like that. I see them as these beautiful beings of light. And they have sort of a glow, which is like a halo. And they can manifest wings. They do turn up with wings sometimes, depending on how the angels will always appear to you in a way that's most comfortable, so that's not threatening. So if for you, an angel with wings makes you feel very safe, Archangel Michael will appear and he'll bring with him his wings.
Okay.
And what I started, as I started to work with the angels, they helped me get out of that abusive relationship. They were my lifesavers. And then I always remember one particular day, I'd been asking for support, and one of the angels said, and I'll never forget it, he said to me, take what disempowers you and use it to empower you. And I couldn't understand. It took me, when I asked him, he said, you have to learn to know what it means, because it's what it means to you, which is what you will create. You're going to create this school of light. And I thought, okay. I didn't really know how, didn't know what I was going to do. But about a good 2 months, I'd say, I started to realize that we can only help people if we've had the experience. And I realized that my mission was to help people who feel disempowered and who feel lost and don't know where to turn to, how to find the support through their angels and within themselves to change and bring their life around. And so it was at that point then that I met Glenn. And I knew Glenn was an atheist, my husband, to be at that time. And it was funny how bit by bit, with the help of the angels and spirit, he started to recognize, and he went from being an atheist to a real believer. But he didn't get what angels were. And he said, you know, what are they? So I always try to explain everything. I always say is energy. The simplest way is everything's energy. And it's a reflection, but it's like energy, you have different strengths, different frequencies. So if you can imagine right now, you're sat whether you're sat at home or in the office or even in the car, if you listen to this on 4G, all the time running past you, you have got different messages. You've got radio waves, you've got TV waves, you've got military satellite messages going backwards and forwards, and they're all around you, but you can't hear them. And as you start to develop yourself spiritually, all you're doing is you're rewiring the mechanism within your brain to be able to pick up the messages in different frequencies. So I normally say, if you think of AM as people that are in the afterlife, our loved ones, our spirit guides, and then we switch to another channel, another frequency, the vibration is different. You'll get angels. We may switch to another channel where we may get ascended masters, and so on and so on. So within any channel, there's lots of different bandwidths. And angels are another divine source of energy who are able to be intermediaries between those higher vibrational beings. You might want to call like the seraphim. There's different layers of angels. One, I'm told, is never better or different to the other. It's just that they work with a different set of purposes. And they act as intermediaries. So it's easier for us to feel that we're connected with divine source, whether you want to call it God, Allah, Jehovah, Buddha. So the angel energy is a more purer form of energy. Can a human be an angel? I'm told no, because they never incarnate in the flesh. They work at that upper level, and they're like, if you can imagine all the different layers of energy, they're like this protective layer of energy that keeps everything and protects everything and makes sure that the energies are stabilized and balanced. So angels are balancers of energy as well as just working with us. Right. So the other thing that I found as I started to work with angels, I found them so much easier to work with. I found my connection more than with my spirit guide really instant. I didn't have to struggle. And I think one of the things was because I associated angels from, not that my family were religious, from upbringing, that they were more closer to God. I felt I was more protected, which then made me feel more relaxed when I was opening up to angelic communication. So that's what my understanding of angels is. It may not necessarily be somebody else's experience, because we all experience spirit differently. But every time I've worked with my angels, every time I've asked, it has always been given, lovingly, supportive. Sometimes I get a no. I don't always get what I want, but they help us understand why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And they're not shy as well at telling people about their darker side, the darker side of our nature. Because if we're to behold, yes.
If you hold on, what is the difference between the dark and the light angels?
Okay, as I understand it, there is no dark angels. All angels have roles. It's only a human perspective that see them as bad or good. As an example, I remember I was either 5 or 6, and my first day, my mum took me to Sunday school, and I got thrown out of Sunday school on my first day because they were talking about how bad people go to hell and Satan punishes them. And even at 6, it's pretty hard to comprehend, but at 6, I challenged the teacher and said, but Satan must be good. And this woman was astounded and completely shocked. She said, no, Satan's evil. I said, but if he's punishing people on behalf of God to teach them a lesson, then he's good, because he's helping them realize that they shouldn't be naughty. And because of that, when it came to the end, the teacher asked my mum not to bring me anymore, because I challenged, even at that age, the status quo.
Yeah.
So again, it's about having the understanding that it's a vibration, and what you believe creates the energy in how it's embraced, if that makes sense.
So 100% responsibility.
Yeah, 100% responsibility. Often with the kids, they'll say, oh, don't do that, Mum, it's bad luck. And I say, no, bad luck isn't part of my reality. It's not bad. It is what it is. Every moment is a chance to explore and find the magic. Because even if you think, oh, that's terrible, this has happened to me today, or that's terrible, that's happened to that person. But every experience is an opportunity to go higher. I always say to a lot of my students, what do we do when we're going to jump? And they always say, well, we reach up. And I say, yeah, but what do you have to do before you reach up? And they all look at me, always look at me gone out. And I say, you have to bend your knees. You have to go down. So you have to have that downward pressure, whether it's a bad experience, a bad feeling, in order to give you the energy to come up. So going down is not bad. Going down means breakthrough.
Exactly.
Coming through.
We have been programmed by society, by whatever parental, societal, religious programming, to feel certain things that are not necessarily, they have tainted bad, right?
Yeah.
But what really are they? I mean,
it's resistance. I find it is the angels always say to me, when you're saying you're having a bad day, you are resisting what is. So in other words, your vibration is not aligned. So what you want in your head is out of alignment with what's really happening. So let's say, for example, you arrive at work, you want a really peaceful day, and you walk into the office and there's people kicking off, there's people arguing, and there's somebody coming to you and saying, have you seen what she's done? And they're starting to backbite at one another. And what tends to happen is people just think, oh, and they absorb that energy. Whereas if you take a step back and think, okay, that's their issue. I'm going to hold my vibration. I'm going to be peaceful. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be pleasant. And I'm just going to keep moving on through. It might be a little bit slow, but this morning I'm just going to work with it, because what's going on around me is helping to remind me to stay in my vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I do with my students is I normally say, when you're going to check in with your vibration, so your chakras control the vibration. It's not just a case of thinking it or feeling it. So are your thoughts in agreeance or coherence with what you're wanting? Are you talking about what you're wanting? So are you giving it the vibration? Because you've got the seed here, the vibration that starts to bring it into life. Then the emotion. How do I feel? Do I feel I'm in the same vibration with my thoughts? And then because what you're feeling will determine your behavior, which is your solar plexus chakra. And if your behavior is not in alignment with what you're thinking and feeling, then again we're out of alignment. So it's really good to check in. And your angels, you can work with angels and ask them to vibrationally help you stay aligned. Now, I always work with Metatrone, but you can work with Michael, you can work with Gabriel, Jophiel, Shamuel, Zadkiel. You can call in whoever you want. They will help you. And I think sometimes when we're working with angels and vibration, people think, oh, which angel deals with what? They'll deal with anything. They'll support you. Yes, some are more experienced like Michael with protection. But if you make sure that you're checked in, because I did this with a student the other day, and she'd started to get a lot of heel problems. And she's a nurse, she works in theatre. And she said, I'll be glad when I've left. And she said, because I hate work. But I said, but you're creating your reality. And she said, no, I'm not. I said, you are. I said, listen to what you're saying, because what you're saying, you're prophesizing. Yeah. I'm hating work. I said, your heel problem is because you're digging your feet in and rejecting what is.
Yes.
Instead of embracing and saying, I'm looking forward to this day because it's another day nearer to my retirement. It's another day of exploring how I can be the best version of myself. And she started to think about it. And so during the day, I kept correcting her and I said, you're going to hate me by the end of the evening, because I'd said, wait, what have you just said? And she said, oh yeah, it's really easy. What we think we're saying and what we're actually saying are two different things. No, so totally. That knocks your vibration out.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what we focus on. Speak that which you wish to become. You co-create your reality. 100% responsibility for the energies that you exude, your thoughts. Yeah. Of course, you can't control 50,000 thoughts, but your emotions and the feelings you're feeling will give you a feedback back onto your thoughts, right? And what you choose, the belief systems, and also, of course, words. Words are what? Spoken thoughts, no?
Yeah.
So,
that's the energy that really gives that seed, because the thought is the seed of creation.
Yes.
And then when you speak it, the breath of life, you give it the energy to grow.
Thank you. Hello, girls. You hearing that? There's lots of questions piling up, so I'm
right.
So she says they're pounding into angels now. So we're having Kana. Do any particular angels leave red feathers?
Michael will leave red feathers.
Okay.
And that's normally as a sign. Look at what you need to be grounded. And also as well, some of your pain, the angels are taking, because sometimes, we feel like we're bleeding when we're really in a lot of pain. It's similar along the lines of when people get black feathers. I have people ring me or text me, I've got a black feather, does it mean somebody's going to die? And I always say, no, what it means is that the situation, the angels have taken the negativity, they're absorbing it and they're transforming it into light.
It's a good thing again, right?
So things are changing. So red for me, if I see a red feather, and the angels, I always ask my angels, it's normally grounding. Ground yourself. Start to wonder if what you're thinking is grounded in reality.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay, so there's different types of dreams, and you can dream. For example, I could sit here and dream all day and say I'd love to be Queen of England. Okay, but in reality, when you look at reality, it isn't going to happen. I may be a queen in a different dimension, in a parallel lifetime, and I can stand in my own divine sovereignty and be queen of where I am now. But an actual physical queen of England, no. All right, so let's keep it real.
Yeah.
So you have to think about, is what I want to achieve real? And can I see myself achieving that? Because
how would you feel right there?
Yeah, if you want it, but you feel, well, I'd like to think so, the vibration's not there.
Yeah.
So, because in order to create, you have to be the vibration.
you don't magnetize what you want, you magnetize what you are, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then what? Take inspired action, not sit on
Yeah.
your butt all day long.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I keep a journal, and this is my journal. And at night, during the day, I work for people, and I give readings and coaching sessions and healing sessions. But at night, it's sort of my time. And so normally, just as I'm about to fall to sleep, spirit come, and I write all what they give me. And it can go from anywhere between one word to pages and pages.
Yeah.
But I pulled this out, actually. I was walking past and the spirit said to me, you'll need your journal. And I thought, oh, okay. But this is, and I've got it open actually at the page, and it said, thought creates the seed of potential through a mental image of what is wanted or desired. So your thought is the seed of potentiality. You then have an emotion, and the image creates an emotion. If it's excitement, your vibration increases, it expands and feeds that seed of potential. And then you have the voice. When you talk about your goals, your ideas, your dreams, that transmits the magnetic field of what you want out into the universal flow, which then feeds into the multiversal flow. And then your behavior, so how you respond to your thoughts in your behavior, will deliver the synchronicity of whether you can vibrationally match what you want. And then the rhythm, and this is really important, people don't realize, your heart controls how fast you age, how fast you manifest. So if it's excited and passionate, what that does is that speeds up the manifestation process. But what you need to do is you need to make sure that as you get to that where you feel most passionate about something, you then have to let it go and release it. So I normally say I release it to divine source. Angels take care of it. And I don't have any expectations or think about the result. I just send that out. Because what tends to happen then is people revisit it. And when you revisit it, you pull it back. You take it back out of the flow. So what you have to do is once you get so passionate, you just say, there it is. I release it. It's done. And don't worry about the results. Don't worry about how. And just leave it. And that's what they gave me the other night. And also I'll just quickly go through. It said if you don't get a result you didn't want, ask the question, what belief did I have in order to manifest this? What emotion did I have in order to manifest this? What did I say? What did I do? What did I learn or need to learn from this result? And in what way has it helped me to be more clear about what I want? Because remember, the result isn't important. It's about learning to work with your energy.
Yes, definitely.
So
perfect. Well, girls, I hope this clarifies our teachings in the academy and our workshops on the algorithm of co-creation. Yeah. There is a person, I'll just call on that person. Facebook user, please, there is on this video, there is a text that says, give StreamYard permission to show your name, because I've got consecutive comments here and I don't know the person's name. So Facebook user that asks for atheism, could you please put your name in the comment box so I will see what your name is, because then it's like 3 different lines here. I'm going to put them. Do you see the text on the screen, Jill?
I do, yeah. I'm going to go with the what do you think in particular convinced your late husband to give up his atheism?
Yeah, because I think it's the same person that is asking and commenting.
That's fine. Questions are good. Okay, Glenn started to sit in on, I used to do open trance sessions for a group of people. And we used to sit. And Glenn really struggled with meditation, because if we said visualize a sphere coming towards you, Glenn would struggle because he'd need to know what size it was, what the diameter was, if it had a color. And so he restricted the vibration, because he was bringing in the thought. And I said, when you're doing meditation, rather than try to control the process, just sit as though you're listening to a story. And as you listen to that, your mind will automatically create exactly what's needed at the right time. So we did this meditation, and then we did a healing session. And I got the students to do healing. And one of the students was working on Glenn. And Glenn started to experience, he saw this being of light come towards him. And then they put concentric circles around him. And they were going up and down, vibrating and oscillating through this session. And he was getting really hot. And then when they changed color, he went really cold. After the healing session, I said to the people that were doing the healing, and the guy that was healing Glenn was a gentleman called Mark. I always remember this. And Mark explained to Glenn what he'd experienced, and Glenn nearly fell off his chair. He said, he has actually said word for word everything I experienced. He said, that is amazing. And I think that was the turning point for him. And then we started to have a ghost come into the house, which we used to call Smoky Joe, because none of us smoke. And there'd be a real whiff of cigarette smoke. We could be sat in bed reading, and it was as somebody had taken a puff and blown it across the front of your face. And so once Glenn had the healing session, he became more open to it. And as he started to trust, the more experiences he had. So I think it really is a big trust issue. So I hope that answers your question.
Look at this one. Look at that sentence here. I'm going to say it. Energy is a language I accept and understand, but clearly defined angel world sounds like a fairy tale. I'm comfortable with most of what you say, but you see that word "but" cancels everything being said.
It negates everything you've said before.
Can you go for that one maybe deeper, Jill?
Okay. Right. I feel most people struggle with angels because angels are related to religion. Okay. So perhaps it'd be interesting to know if that Facebook user actually believes in spirit world.
It might be Andrew. Is that Andrew who asked that question, or is it another Facebook user? Show your name, please. Tell us in the comments. Claim it. Claim it.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can believe in spirit, then rather than if you hear, I had the issue when we wrote a book called Cashing In on God, which was channeled from spirit.
It's Andrew.
Okay, and that really was an eye-opener for Glenn, because everything that they gave, Glenn would go and research, and they would give Bible passages and things and explain what those Bible passages should be meant. Our students struggled with God, and Metatron said, just see it as divine source. It is an extension of divine source, which you are, which I am. So it's just a label that's been given to maybe identify a different vibrational of energy. And so it helps. Humans have to label things. We have to put things in boxes. And that helps us then identify things on a conscious level. So I feel, rather than think that angels are fairy tale creators, I mean, the same could be said, for example, of star seeds. We know that there are other beings out in the universe. We know that there are which we call alien to us, so they got the name aliens. It's just a label, but we readily accept. A lot of people readily accept that aliens exist. So I feel, rather than think it's fairy tale, just see it as a different source of divine light. and their wings, if you're lucky enough for one to appear, and it does have wings, like a uniform that they would wear, so that it helps you realize and feel comfortable that you're with the presence of a divine source of light. Because again, we have people that think ghosts are evil, so it's helping spirit are trying to help us in our human form understand who they are and what they can do for us. And the more you work with them, the more you will find you become comfortable with that energy. And the name, really, it's just like being called Peter. It's Andrew, Fred.
Andrew is on fire with questions. Metatron. Where did that name come from?
Right. This is really interesting, because this really blew Glenn's mind. Meta means after, and tron is another word for God, and Metatron is after God. And if you look at the other angels, you will see they are normally with God or of God, but Metatron is the only one that is after God.
Well, elaborate, please.
Okay, so we often think that Michael was first created, but Metatron was created first.
Why is he not in the Bible?
He's not in the Bible because the Bible was written by men.
There we go. Somebody just asked.
Yeah. Okay. Do we know for sure aliens exist? Okay. So again, would you? I feel it would be extremely naive to believe that this planet, in the midst of complete space, all right, does not contain more life forms. Having worked with Pleiadians, having worked with Arcturians and Lyrans and Algolithians, so I know that aliens definitely do exist. Yeah.
So are they frequency-wise?
They're frequency-wise, yeah. I mean, the brain is essentially like a Wi-Fi hub. It's receiving and being bombarded continually. And what we're doing, our consciousness is doing, is controlling what we tune into. The brain actually, as we've grown up through the years, has learned to shut out a lot of things. So when you're working, it's learned to tune out bird song, or it's learned to tune out the hum that the printer makes. So it's realistically picking up these waves of energy, and within those waves of energy, within those waves of light, is messages, language, light language.
There's an interesting somebody really, you hit some buttons there with Andrew, it seems like. So he says, okay, why use the language that will turn people off rather than on? I suppose on and off. But then again, who is turned off and who is turned on? That is the question.
And also, who created the language? Humans termed angels. Humans created demons. Humans created hell. It's the labels. Funny enough, let's bring this to something a little bit more mainstream. Okay. When you go to any government and you have forms to fill out, you have to be classified by the color of your skin and your sex. And I refuse, point blank. I cross all that out and I write human. Okay, because I am divine spirit in human form. And I think we can go through and argue, why is it this and why is it that? It just is. It's how you choose to interpret it and use that for leverage, if you want to use the term leverage, how you can use that to either empower you or disempower you. So if, for example, you don't believe in angels, if they're not part of your reality, that's fine. They won't be part of your reality. You'll not be open to their communication.
Isn't it true that each being is given a free will?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can use it the way we want to now.
Exactly. You know, nobody is going to swoop in from the air and save us. We are divine source, and what we're doing is every day we are experiencing the power of choice. The one thing angels have always said to me is humans fail to recognize they are actually ascended masters in one subject.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean they're ascended masters in one subject? They said in limitation. They've already mastered limitation. Now you're in human form. You have to learn to master being unlimited.
Remember your divinity, right?
Yeah, remember your divinity. I mean, people always said to me, you know, oh, God's separate. And I always said, well, okay, if you want to call it God, how can you be separate if you were to do a DNA test all the way back? Right at the beginning, in your veins is divine source. You know, you don't create a chocolate cake and take from that and try to make it into an orange cake. It would still be chocolate orange cake. Because it's from the source it's come from, it cannot change. And the same with your vibration. If you want to look at things negatively and say, well, that I don't believe that, or that can't be true, it's interesting. It's good to challenge, but maybe open your heart and say, that's interesting. Let me listen. Let me understand more. So how is your understanding of this? And how does that help you? XYZ. Because I feel that's where we tend to get out of alignment again. One of the things I often say to my kids is, whose business are you in? Are you in your own business? Or are you in somebody else's? Because the other day something had gone off and she shouldn't be doing that. And I said, whoa. I said, whose lane are you in? You're in her lane. And that's nothing to do with you. Stay in your own lane.
But we like to do it. Isn't it so much easier for a human to deal with somebody else's business than your own?
Yeah.
Your vibrational business, so to speak.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know, Jill. I mean, I'm feeling that we maybe want to invite somebody here. Andrew, it seems like maybe we want to invite him to really look at reflections. Because look at that comment now.
Yeah.
These are the things I've ditched with marriage because my religious language makes people discuss dogma instead of energy. Here, you are perfectly fluent speaking about energy. So why involve angels, aliens? So you see, it's like I'm sensing, Andrew, I love you. Love you. I love you. I love you. We love you. Okay. I'm sensing a bit of, hostility.
Resistance.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good. Okay. Oh, right. All right. Why involve angels, aliens? It's unnecessary, superfluous, whatever it is. All right, Andrew. Right. If you get sick, really sick, do you go to a doctor? I would say probably yes. The answer would be. But if you're divine source, isn't that just unnecessary? Can you see? So aliens bring a lot of diverse technology. They are already transmitting and helping us with our technology. If you look at humanity, for so long it was so slow, and then all of a sudden there was this boom. The boom came in the 60s. All right, that was because, and if you look, then we had more UFO sightings. All right, because they were bringing technology. Those crop circles were vibrational imprints to help the humanity raise its consciousness. So that's why it's really important to see it as it's there again. If you want to use that support, it's there. If you don't, that's okay. We're not suggesting for any 1 minute that everybody's got to talk to angels or everybody's got to start believing in aliens. What I would suggest is just remain open. I always find when I struggle with something, rather than resist it and say, oh, that's a load of old rubbish, I normally think there is always an element of truth. All right. And in all ways, And if you look at it from all angles, then you'll get a more holistic viewpoint. And then you can choose whether or not you want that to be part of your reality or not.
I'm in 100% agreement. I mean, the stage of awareness that we are at the moment, there's no judgment about the stages of awareness. That's just evolutionary stages that will then give us the reality that we can interpret from that stage, right? And it's not, and this is what you do, what we do at the Lovetarian way. It is non-judgmental space coming from the unconditionally loving source. And is it always super lovely and kind and gentle? Sometimes angels can give you a little bit of tough truth.
They can, definitely, yeah.
Or angels or vibrations, use whatever feels comfortable, whatever feels good in your body. If you want to call them, are they attached to, if we call them high frequency being this or whatever your name is? I mean, they don't.
You could call them airwave messages.
Yeah. It's like, it's for us, you know, I personally love magic of fairies, butterflies, and angels. But I'm also very proficient in science and quantum physics, you know, and I feel comfortable in either way. And it's very non-judgmental for me. It's just like magnets. It's plus and it's minus. It's two energy fields. And this is where you are at. And, you know, it's cool.
If you think about it, there's a guy, I'm trying to think who it was that said it now. Glenn could tell you, but if you can conceive it, you create it. So if in your world you create dragons and fairies, and then they exist in your world, that is your reality.
Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. I believe it was Napoleon Hill, because we
discussed Napoleon Hill. That's the one. I was thinking Brian Tracy, and I'm thinking, no, that's not right.
That is a classic of 100 years old. Yeah. I think we get Napoleon Hill. Yes, Andrew is with us. Love right back at you, man.
But let's have a look at Andrew. Andrew with love. All right. My intention here is to make things. So you're trying to make things, but things have to just be. When you try to make things, you stress that energy, and when you stress that energy, that then makes things become too rigid. And they'll either fracture or they'll create a wall. So everybody communicates at a level, and sometimes maybe the way I communicate is not right for you at your vibration, at your level, but everything that anybody ever brings to the table is important. And so I'm sure what Andrew may be doing is bringing things to the table that maybe someone else is thinking but a bit unafraid to say. Or put down. So I welcome the questions. Again, it's the vibration when we try to make things happen.
I have not necessarily related with angels, but it is, because it's all energy. And I practice and I help guide girls mostly now, women, goddesses, to work with Ho'oponopono process, which is the ancient Hawaiian healing process. And in Ho'oponopono, we are guided that we can create either from inspiration, directly from source, or we can create from data, from old memories, right? So whenever question arises, do you really need to ask it out loud? I mean, we're all very curious. Mind is very curious. But isn't it good also to bring it back to your body, clear within yourself? And oftentimes, before you even ask the question, you will get the answer. You will come to that peace. You will come to zero. But if you keep asking and asking and asking and asking, you don't trust the source.
No, that's correct. Yeah.
You know, so like, again, vibrational alignment, right?
The other thing as well is sometimes when you have a thought, is to, like you say, come back to self and think, is that really true? What is the aim? What do I want to achieve? Maybe by having that dialogue. And for me, again, it's finding what works for you. But I know that at a time where I was sat with a knife in my hands, ready to finish my life, when that angel turned up, it completely transformed my life. And there was no way in that moment that I manifested that angel. Not to my knowledge. I do believe that we all have a purpose. We all have, whether it's just something simple as helping people feel nourished through cooking good food, or making them laugh by being quite a comic. We all have something very integral and important that is a piece of the jigsaw of the bigger picture. Yeah. So whilst some people may struggle with the term angels, I feel that for me, without the angels, I certainly wouldn't be here today. And without the help of angels, my husband would have died at least 10 years earlier than he did. So for all that, I am feel truly blessed and grateful to have had that opportunity and to have them in my life.
Actually, of course, I had the privilege to spend some time with Glenn, and it was really wonderful. And so for you, it might have been, it's like you are connected with spirit all the time, as we can all be. However, you are very, shall we say, psychically activated.
I make a point every day. I come in, this is my conservatory at the moment that we're in. I always come in the morning, I get my coffee, and I sit and I offer myself to spirit in service. And I check in with my chakras and my vibration, and I focus on what I want to achieve today, and I ask spirit to support me in that. And then at lunchtime, if things start to go a bit haywire, or I find I'm not achieving what I need to do, I come back and do a check-in, and then I do a check-in at night before I go to sleep, because I'm really conscious. Because when you go to sleep, what's really important to understand is when you go to sleep, the body goes to sleep, but the lower soul, which is in physical form, is uploading to our higher self all the experiences and wisdoms of that day. And then what happens then is when we wake up, we have already manifested a new reality.
And people tend to come back, right, to that old. Well, we have an opportunity to rebirth, right?
Yes, because in human form, we think it's just an extension of the next day, but it's not. No. We have actually manifested a complete new reality and a new vibration, and that vibration of what we have around us was based on the vibration we held before we went to sleep.
So good that you said that. Great, really, actually, because we have some women that we're working with that have very deep wounds. And because of the programming, working with, I mean, you know, pharmaceutical drugs, being programmed by religious dogma, being abused, I mean, raped, and deeply, I mean, atrocities against those bodies, right? And they have difficulty to just start fresh, not to get attached to those old cords, not to replay that split personalities and so on. What advice could we give to come back to yourself and to heal without all this psychiatric
aid? The angels have always said to me, scars are like tattoos.
Beautiful. I love that.
They mark a very important, whether it's an emotional scar or a physical scar, they mark a very important turning point in your spiritual evolution. And they are a visual reminder of the strength that is within you, of what you've come through and how you've birthed through into a new reality. And so you should always wear your scars with pride, because they show the wisdom, the strength, the courage, and the hope and love that you still continue to have, regardless of the experience that scar, of how that scar came about. So the experience of the scar doesn't define you, but the scar defines what you've been birthed into. And so like a tribal scar, you should wear it with pride, and you should feel really blessed and proud that you have come through all that and you're still standing here in your divine sovereignty, and you still have this power to change and work on from that. It doesn't define you, but what it's done is it's helped you uncover more potential within yourself.
Oh, that is beautiful. I believe it was, I don't know if it was one of books that you had trans-channeled or somewhere else, that Jesus, Ascended Master Jesus, said that your pain or your suffering, your life, all your experiences are there for a reason, and you could use it as a platform,
Yes,
springboard.
that ties back in with what that angel said. It's about taking what disempowers you. So if, for example, you, I have been raped, okay? I was raped when I was 17 years old. And having had that experience, I could have let it crumble me. I could have let it put me and make me go within. But that experience has helped me to understand the people that are going through it now. It's like you're going through a tunnel of light and you're a bit further down. So you know what it's felt like. You know all the issues that you've had to deal with. So through that, you then have the power to be able to support people and say, take another step and breathe. You can do this. You've got this. And so the experiences you have, if you were bullied at school, then you know how it feels. You can help that person who at the moment is just so in such a dark place that they can't believe that there is a way out.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's okay. And so for me, it's you will find you cross paths with people, and there's always that exchange. It may be you sit at the side of somebody and you just say, morning, how are you? And it just that moment of somebody acknowledging them may be the difference between them finishing their life that day or carrying on and finding the strength to think, well, perhaps there is hope.
Yeah, beautiful. We are doing our best guiding people back to themselves, and I can't even imagine. I don't want to use my imagination like that. I can't imagine to have such atrocities done upon me. However, if a person is magnetized to my workshop or working with you, there's a reason why. And there must be something that we could guide them with, such as those wise words that you said right now. What is also coming back to me now, I have this sense, I'm sensing with a lot of women especially, we have been programmed so to turn against ourselves. You know, we have been taught that for eons, that girls this, of course, boys don't cry and all that as well. However, divine feminine had been really, squished, right? So it's so very easy and natural reaction for every girl to go oftentimes against themselves. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I caused it. Maybe I attracted it. Maybe, right? However, the healing, we need to remind people all the time that the healing happens in the now. Yes, you had gone through this. Okay, yes. And could you find a gift in it and heal?
Yes, you can. Again, it's I always say, and I drill it into my children all the time, it is what it is. You cannot erase what was. And as my husband said, you can't sow sawdust. But how you choose to be in this moment. And it doesn't matter about the cause. It doesn't matter about the fact that somebody has violated you. It doesn't matter what atrocities you've had to endure, because you're still standing, and it's what you choose to hold in your heart and your mind. If you keep giving into those dark thoughts, then that past is still controlling you. I do a course called Soul Empowerment, and it's about recognizing how your subconscious mind is like a bit like a tape recorder. So what happens is when you have an experience that is similar to something that's happened to you, your subconscious mind, like a filing cabinet, pulls it out and says, this is going to happen. But that is based on old programming, old energy imprints. By going with what the heart says and knowing that you are divine source, you're divine love. And even though somebody may possess your body, they cannot possess your consciousness. And it's from everything is created from our consciousness. It's our divine source. So it's learning to recognize those patterns. And once you start to recognize those patterns, they're easier to turn off. It does require some work. I don't feel, I'd be wrong in saying there's an instant button that's going to bring you through that. But like the angel said, look at what disempowers you and look at how it can empower you.
Could people find some encouragement maybe, or some extra inspiration in knowing that there is a strong possibility they had chosen to experience those things pre-birth, you know, the pre-birth planning?
There could be, if you see this as an experience that will help you grow into your empowered strengths, embrace, like I said, the scars. It's like a badge of honor. And some people might be saying, well, how can rape be a badge of honor? How can physical abuse be a badge of honor? It's the honor of your own strength, your own determination to say that was an experience I had, but it's no longer a part of the reality that I have around me now. But what it has done is it's given me the wisdom to understand things. And it also it gives you compassion.
Yes.
It does give you compassion. I particularly at this moment in time, I'm really championing the divine feminine, but I also feel it's very important that at the same time we don't disempower the divine masculine.
No.
Which we have to be really careful of, because I feel that at the moment, whilst it's brilliant that we've got the divine feminine coming through and women are starting to stand in their own power, that the divine masculine is also honored at the same time, because actually younger males commit more suicides than females.
That's absolutely so. But when you look at the history through eons, okay, I mean, there's nothing to be said. Patriarchy kind of did that. Okay, so the wave is coming now. It started a few hundred years ago.
You come back in.
The ladies are back, right? And of course, it's like a backlash. It's like a tsunami of that power, because they felt so. It's like this powerful water. It's the ocean. We're gonna give it to them, but it's not about giving it to them. It's about loving them and integrating them, right?
Yes, it is.
It's like I have this. There's a reason why I have this balance. You know, your solar plexus, that's your male, right, and the womb, and then the whole alignment of the whole body, right? Let your body be the vehicle of this alignment. No,
definitely.
Awesome discussion. Yes, about another one. What is the difference? Totally switching frequency.
Okay.
Difference.
I can't see the questions. Mine aren't scrolling down.
I have it coming from somewhere else. What is the difference between ascended masters and angels?
Okay, ascended masters. Well, we are all working towards our own ascended mastership.
We're all masters.
It's learning. It's learning to master, for example, divine love. It's learning to, for example, Saint Germain incarnated in many different times and learnt to be how alchemy works, changing not base metals into gold, but changing our darkness into light, and understanding that every experience you have is another mastership that you're learning to understand. Because what has happened is, if you look at divine source, so let's say we've got this ball of energy, whether you want to call it God, all the names that we have under religion, but we have this source that has an awareness and it wants to know more about itself. So what happens is it starts to evolve and it divides and divides. So we get the seed of life, and it duplicates, and that duplicates. So you've got all these different aspects of itself, and this is evolution as it's coming out. But there comes a point where, as we're learning, as a spark of that divine source, we're gathering knowledge from a unique perspective. We're seeing things, and there'll come a time then that we then start to involute back to source. So we evolve, and then we involve. We come back and take all that knowledge with us, and that's effectively what the Ascended Masters have done. They've amassed a huge amount of knowledge, but now they've come back where they are this vibration that holds effectively like a manual of how this is and how everything works.
Perfect.
So it's like you train to be a surgeon. You're always learning until you're that master surgeon, and you've mastered what you're a master surgeon. So an ascended master is only someone who's mastered a particular aspect of life, and that's enabled them to ascend to that next vibration.
It brings us to that perfect place of completion where we can just really remind people that at the end of the day, honestly, we are guides. You are there to assist their ascension and so on. However, the meaning is up to you to define. The vocabulary is up to you to choose. The thoughts are for you to focus, and emotions, also feelings, to choose. Take 100% responsibility and be spiritually mature, maybe. Dare to walk, right? With pride. Carry those scars, or you know what I mean? Like with joy, because wow, look at you. Amazing, right? Amazing. You're still here. Because
I think the key is learn to be at peace with what is.
Yes.
And if you can find that peace within, that then creates that platform of which everything else then manifests from. So yes, we have had pain. We may have been really as though like a dishcloth, somebody's wiped the floor and wrung us out. But now let's be at peace with that. That was then. Now I'm at peace with where I am. I'm safe in this moment where I am, divine sources. And from this moment, this place, I can choose. I say when, I say who, I say what, I say where, I say how.
Yes. We are encouraging everybody to have a conscious awareness that they do have a choice, and they can, no matter what is going on, bombs are exploding, you get present, you take a breath, right? And come to that peaceful space, and there you make a decision, because do nothing, leave nothing undone. There is a wisdom there too. Don't do anything until you feel there is that inspired spark, and then do it.
Yeah, just be aware of not attaching to the thoughts as well. I think that helped me, when the memory comes up, like on the 17th, it will be the anniversary when Glenn passed. And rather than allow my thoughts to go to the sadness and the loss, I'm turning that into celebrating the 27 joyous years that we had together. And see it as a celebration that I'm glad I've been reminded of his passing, because it reminds me to celebrate what we've had and celebrate the aspects of everything that he's helped me birth into.
Yes, beautiful. But
so don't attach to the negative thought. Turn it round.
But look, it is such a relative thing, all of it, every experience, because in some cultures, when you pass on, it's a celebration. They wear white and it's a party, right? It's a celebration of life. While in our culture, it's a disaster. We lost them. What have we? Have we lost them?
Funny enough, Glenn used to say to me, grief was selfish.
That's interesting. Why?
And I used to say, why is that? He said, well, it's because we want the person there.
Yes.
And we still want them to be around. And because we can't have what we want, we grieve for them instead of celebrating.
Yes,
how wonderful it was to have had that in our lives.
So again, like last time, we ended with peace. I think that is the theme, and it will always be that you need to be at peace with what is and stop resisting what is.
Yes.
Because it is what it is.
It is. You can't change it, and just embrace where you are in this moment. And even though maybe some of the things we've spoken about today don't necessarily align with you, that's fine. Don't get stressed out about it. Just embrace it. It may come back at some point where you might think, oh yeah, I remember that and I can see that now. Or you may forget about it for the rest of your life. It's just being open to different views, different beliefs, and seeing what you can learn or take from that and how that can maybe help you. I do hope that if you've never worked with angels, that you will try. Invite angels to be a part of your life. Invite them to help you with your manifesting. If they're a higher vibration, they can lend their vibration to you. And see it as additional helpers that are there if you choose to ask them.
Beautiful. I would like to just really close saying that angels will not do the work for you.
Correct.
You need to do the work. And be at peace with everything. And it's not encouraging passivity. No, we're not telling
No, it's not. No.
It's there's a slight difference, isn't there?
There's definitely a difference. Yeah, it's not, they're not going to come in and rescue you.
No.
You know, because that keeps you disabled.
Exactly. It is. We are, as you said, masters in training. We are embodying the light, our power or energy, if you will, and we really are. Who said that? If you knew how powerful your thoughts were, you would never think another thought, negative thought. I think it was Emerson who said, if we really had that realization of the quantum power of our thoughts, emotionalized, wow, we would not be moping. But we are humans, okay? We are humans, and that's a slightly different density, right, than those high vibrations.
We are one of the bravest sources of spirit. We've chosen to come into this physical form and experience restriction and limitation, to explore how to break through that limitation and still stand in the divine sovereign power that we are. So you know, we've really took on a really tough university course.
School is quite of a school, no?
Yeah.
I mean, Earth is quite a school. That's what I meant.
It's a beautiful school. Absolutely beautiful. And there's magic in every moment if you choose to remain open to it.
100%. Good, then. That was a beautiful broadcast. Lots of nice questions. So we'll be back end of August, probably, yes, for our next one, because that's a great little thing we've got going here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my honor to speak with you today.
People can get food, right, Jill?
You can check out my website, angelmessenger.co.uk. You can get guided meditations. I think there's 96 out there for you to choose from. There's the books that we wrote with the channelings about how angels came into being, what angels are. So go and check them out. And then there's readings. If you feel you want a reading, or if you want an angel trance healing session with me, you can book one of those online as well. So and stay in touch with me on Facebook, and join my angel group, which is facebook.com/groups/talk to angels. And if you need some help working with angels, I would be delighted to help you.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, beautiful. I'm going to wrap this up. You guys and girls have a beautiful day. Jill, I'll have a moment with you once I close that broadcast.
God bless everybody. Take care.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.